Hello and welcome to this week's episode of So Fired. I'm Chelsea Toronto.
I'm Dr. Lindsay Regier.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Happy to be here. Do you have a So Fired moment?
I can't remember one at this moment.
Oh. Okay, well, first, I just want to share like a celeb So Fired moment, and then I can get it into my own. Mostly because I feel a connection to Lindsay Lohan, and she's having such a So Fired moment at the moment. So back in college, when I didn't want people to know my name, I'd be like, I'm Lindsay Lohan. And I even dated this guy, and I told him my name is Lindsay Lohan. And I didn't want to give him my real name because I didn't want him to find me. So I was Lindsay Lohan. She went through all the turmoil. She wasn't doing so hot, but she is back. And I watched her Christmas movie, and she looks so good. The movie is cheesy AF, so I love it. I'm obsessed. And she's just I think she's on her second career.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah.
I love a
so
comeback.
happy for her. Yeah.
You?
Mm-hmm.
And how often do you hear of a lady comeback?
Not often.
No, not at all. And I do feel like Hollywood's been a little bit keeping an eye on her. They would report back.
Yeah.
And say, where she was. If she was not on their radar, they would never mention her.
Oh, of course.
So I think they've been waiting.
Yeah, because she's been living overseas forever.
What?
Yeah, she was living in Ibiza, I think, or
She was?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, it agrees with her.
It does. I'm like, wow, she aged in reverse. She looks
Finally,
so good.
that's good. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, he's been out of my house.
Still?
Yep.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many
2
days?
solid days. 2 days. And apparently yesterday they went to the wrong apartment and they're like, we fixed it. And I come home it is 60 degrees in here.
Oh,
It is
no.
so cold.
And it got down to 19 degrees last night.
Oh, yeah. We have 5 or 6 space heaters set up.
Oh, no.
So, and I'm in sweatpants, fuzzy socks, a turtleneck, a sweatshirt, and weighted blanket. I just cozy on into my bed and I don't move. So the good news of that is that Layla's very comfortable in our house right now, but she is living her best life.
I bet.
So I'm
Doing
I'm
it
such
for
a
her.
dog mom. I'm doing it for her. And she's loving the colder temperature that we are living in right now. And I also was thinking about you. I'm like, wow, you sleep outside all the time when it's so cold. I'm like, you must have outstanding body temperature regulation. How do you do it?
It's kind of a flex.
It is such a flex. I'm like, I don't have that flex. I'm like, wow, I'm so impressed by you. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I've been sleeping outside for how many years? 4?
Yeah.
No, 5. Anyway, pretty much since I moved here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was so lovely. Da, da, da. And I never thought twice about it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm going to see how cold I can get to.
And you get to pretty cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleeping somewhere inside that's 59 degrees or 60 degrees, not
Thanks.
great. So yeah, such a flex. So I'm learning to
Did
adapt.
you think I would ever get credit?
For sleeping out?
No, in no universe, this or another one, did I ever think somebody would be like, you know what? I'm really impressed by that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I didn't see that coming. Sorry, thanks.
You're welcome.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Okay, well, I just have a little update because remember how you were saying, I think I want to get back into sewing.
What I said was, yeah. No, I said if I started sewing and I did 1 or 2 projects this year, I would consider the year complete success.
Mm-hmm. Well, the update.
Well, and then what you said is on air, okay, well, how about this? Make me a jacket. In fact, let's go get the fabric today.
Yeah.
I was so sick to my stomach, but excited. And okay, can I tell you? Let me tell you my side of the story. I was telling somebody the other day, and so I was like, maybe she's gonna forget while we're driving around. And then you're like, which way? And I was like, oh, Yale. So then we go in, and you pick out fabric, and it's $20 a yard, and I'm like, shit is getting real, because when I mess up, I'm gonna have to go back to the store. Now I'm paying $20 and I don't even know if they're gonna have it. Oh my god, I'm already seeing this as my future. And then the next day I got trim because I hadn't hailed it at one point anyway. And then every step of the way I was like, oh my god so paralyzed with fear. And then it worked out. And then you even surprised that I got it to you on time.
2 weeks ago. was when you got the fabric.
Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I came over on Monday night before we went out to dinner. And I was like, ooh, it's cold out. I need a jacket. You're like, come on up. I have something for you. And I'm wearing it right now. So please watch this on YouTube so you can see the whole thing. We'll post like the whole reveal video. It's freaking amazing. Like, I am so pumped. And this is literally the best jacket you've ever made.
Yeah.
It's a Sherpa teddy bear material because I've been wanting a jacket like this for so long.
You really have.
It's a nice cream color. The trim is the perfect color. Like, you picked out the perfect trim. The accoutrements are placed correctly, and they're so cute in the right color. And the little logo, there's a logo on the inside. Seriously, it's like the sickest jacket ever. And I am just so proud to be the recipient of it. I'm so proud of you, and that you did it. And like, I didn't even know that you were going through all the like fear and being scared about doing it. And you got it done so fast.
Thanks.
And I will now be wearing this now and forever. So yeah, I wore it yesterday. I wore it Monday. I wore it today. I'm not fishing for compliments, but like, if you want to tell me how great it looks, I will not deny you.
Very good.
Because you're also complimenting Chelsea.
Hey, I'll take her leftovers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. So, great update.
Yeah.
This week we are introducing a new segment called Let's Call a Spade. Right?
As in, like, if you're going to be honest about it, tell it like it is.
Yeah, right? You know what? Generations, I call bullshit on you guys.
Oh.
All of us. You know why?
Oh.
Mine to Z's.
Okay.
Because they keep talking about honesty, and no one's really honest about anything.
And it's an announcement. It's like, okay, you guys, I'm being really honest and vulnerable about this right now. I'm like, well, you calculated the fact that you're going to be honest and vulnerable about this right at this exact moment. I'm like, why can't you just say what you want to say and not have like a big announcement about it?
That's because it's not real.
I know. And it's so frustrating to me. I think my Instagram feed has also been annoying me so much because it's like all those buzzwords again. And like, so we're all just trying to evolve into be like the same person that has to announce when they want to be honest.
Okay, I've got one.
Yeah.
I think Gen Z is the most powerful of all generations and is literally the forefathers of dictating technology, social, like agenda. And that they worked us out so quickly and we're already antiquated.
Like millennials?
Not so much millennials. You guys are on the cusp, but for me, this is their way of like killing us off slowly. They are literally, Gen Zers are literally AI.
Yes, because now people, Gen X?
Me.
You? Are getting phased out so quickly in corporate world. You know how traditionally, you want to look up to the people who have been there longer than you? No. Absolutely not. They're rewriting everything. And I think we just need to stop resisting that the change that they're implementing is actually really good for us, and we should stop resisting the change.
Indeed. Because what they fail to realize is like they are like, I wouldn't say there are robots of the future, but they have incorporated what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say digital. Is it digital? But like they almost are pre-programmed that come with the digital. Like you see children at Pino's, my restaurant, with iPads who are maybe
2 or 3.
They need a high chair. I swear to God, they need a high chair.
And they're like beep boop beep boop beep boop beep. And
with the Bose noise canceling headphones.
Yes.
But point being is it's like a third arm to their life.
I'm actually in that millennial age range of like 4 years where we didn't have technology.
So you're closer to me.
Yeah.
That's why we can relate.
Where I did have it. So like I know life without it, but I also know life mostly with it. What was it? Like Facebook became popular in high school. And up until then, we didn't really have social media.
Which is...
Yeah, we had AOL Instant Messenger.
Yeah, you were literally the last... You might have been the last year.
Yeah, it was probably the last year
before everything changed. They should write about this in history. Like, there's World War I, there's World War II. They should have, like, the technology or whatever technology phase.
Is that social? My favorite class in
I
school.
thought that was history.
I think it's also social studies. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time saying that.
Psychology?
Social studies.
No. That was history for us. Why do I want to not?
I don't know. Why don't you want to sit next to me? No, I think it's social studies because
No, it's
and like
totally history.
and sociology, history, a branch of history.
Nope, it's not
Social history.
No.
I only think of history as in like war. People died.
Oh, they talk about other things. Civil War. Some of the folk
War.
Some of the civil
rights.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Those are really the only things they talk about.
Yeah. I guess there's no history past
It's social
like
studies.
It's social studies. It's almost like it hasn't been long enough for it to be history yet.
That's 40 years.
I know. I guess I haven't been in school for a while. So what's in the textbooks, you guys? Gen Z, actually, that is a good question. What is in your textbook?
That's what I have to say about Zers. They are rewriting history.
Mm-hmm.
They're dictating our media and like the principle, like the foundations and culture, like the books that we read, To Kill a Mockingbird, whatever books other that.
I also
The Catcher in the Rye, and that might, for whatever reason, might be phased out and erased entirely.
Yeah, but they are making so many changes
so quickly,
and they almost, I think, are doing it a little recklessly where everything is being canceled and you can't even read a classic book because there's some type of undertone of something that's not politically correct.
Okay, you know what they remind me of?
What?
Trump. In the sense of reckless. I'll do whatever. I don't care the ramifications. And it just feels, I think reckless is the absolute perfect word.
Right. And that makes everyone be so scared about what you have to say because I'm going to get canceled for saying something at some point.
So really, they're becoming dictators.
Oof.
They're like breeding a population, a generation of like a police state.
Yeah. I mean, they have so much influence.
So that is my example of
that's a spade.
I think Zers are going to rule the world.
100%. Yeah, Zers are definitely ruling the world.
I think they're about to.
Whatever comes after Z,
God help you.
Yeah. Good luck. You're not going to make that much of an impact. And I like the way the Zers are a little reckless, but just keep it under control.
Okay, that's literally the opposite of what you just said.
No, I mean, like I like they're so reckless, but like
what do you mean by reckless?
Like, oh, we're going to cancel you. We're going to make these changes with this and like whatever we say goes. Like I think that's reckless. But hopefully there's like at least like one shining light in that recklessness that will maybe make the world 1% better.
No, it's never going to happen. No generation has been able to affect change.
Do you think it just keeps on getting worse and worse?
Yeah, I do. 100%. Oh, 100%. Like there is just look at history. There's never been a generation that was like, we're going to right these wrongs. We're going to give all our resources in the places that they need. We would have cured something and we would have saved the environment.
Well,
these kids are not going to do no one's ever taught them to be like a good citizen community.
Oh, I will say actually, no, this is one good thing about Gen Z. I think that as much as I like to cancel people, they're very not about putting labels on things and like tolerating
all right, fine.
A wide variety of
people. I take back what I said about Zers a minute ago. And they are pretty accepting.
Yeah, they're pretty accepting on their own terms.
Right. Regarding just the things that they want.
Yeah.
On their own terms.
Yeah.
So what's your spade of spade?
I'm calling a spade that if you are a woman of reproductive age, you do not have to have a child. Okay?
You're getting loud.
I know. I'm like, let me just say this. So I've been on a journey to go to the doctor since January.
Can I say something?
Yep.
Up until now, you have represented like we both have said, I really don't want to have kids. And then I went as far as saying, if you do have kids, our friendship's over.
Yeah. I've probably said this. I've said the same thing to multiple people.
Say goodbye.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I haven't been to the doctor in 10 years, probably.
The lady doctor.
And my husband's like, you should really go to the doctor. Like, you haven't been in such a long time. Like, hey, whatever. So in January, I call the doctor to make an appointment. They're like, yeah, we can get you in August. I'm like, cool. I'm not in a rush. Fine. So I go to the doctor. This happened to me 3 times in a row. The doctor wasn't in. The appointment got canceled. They didn't tell me. The clinic was closed. Like 3 times in a row. I try to go to the doctor and I'm like, well, guess it's just not in the cards for me. I'm going to call a spade a spade. The universe doesn't want me to see a doctor.
I'm thinking that's... Okay.
Yeah, so I finally get in.
What's the point of going?
The point of going is that I haven't been to the doctor in forever. I should probably get a checkup. Maybe think about freezing my eggs, get an IUD, because like I'm trying really hard to not be pregnant. So like initially, like I wanted to get an IUD because I just want to make sure that shit is on lockdown, that nothing is happening. And sometimes taking a pill every day just gets to be annoying. And then I'm also thinking that maybe I shouldn't be having like hormones pumping through my body the whole time. It should be a little centralized to one location. So that's like why I went. And then I go to the doctor and I was like, yeah, so I'm on the pill, but I like randomly got my period last week. And that was like kind of in the middle of the whole cycle. And she's like, could you be pregnant? And I was like, I almost started to cry because I was so upset. I was like, oh, like, no. And I was like, I'm going to freak. I told her this. I'm like, I'm going to freak the F out right now if that's true.
The F out.
Yeah. I didn't want to swear in front of her.
I would have.
And like,
oh my God, I didn't know you did.
I was already like walking into the clinic. I was like, okay, whatever. But like walking into the room initially, I started to have a visceral reaction to being in that room.
Why?
Like before the doctor even got there. I saw this ultrasound screen and I think that's like what really did it in. I was like, oh, like internally gagging and like nauseous and so uncomfortable and just like my entire body was just like repulsed. I don't even know how to say it. Like the feeling I get when I see someone pop a pimple and like disgusting stuff comes out, like that's how I felt being in the room. Like, oh,
I love seeing pimples.
Oh God, it's so disgusting.
Okay.
Ugh. Oh, I'm getting that feeling again. So like I saw the baby monitor. I was like, oh God, no. And she came in and I was like, I'm so uncomfortable right now. I told her, I'm like, I don't feel well. And then she said the pregnancy thing. And I was like, I'm gonna freak that out. I was just like, it was not going good at all. And she's like, so like, when's the last time you're at the doctor? I'm like, I don't even know. I honestly can't even tell you. It's just like, well, I'm not putting an IUD in you today. I'm like,
oh, come on.
God damn it. I've been trying to like get this done all year.
Literally.
And so she like went through why, because I haven't been to the doctor, blah, blah, blah. Did the whole exam.
Did you believe her? Did you believe that excuse?
I mean, legit, I guess like.
Why not just do it?
Well, because you also have to be on a certain day of your cycle to get it in, apparently.
It needs to be expanded because it hurts like a motherfucker.
Yeah, and she's like, are you prepped? I'm like, what do you mean am I prepped? I'm like, prepped for you to put that in me? She's like, did you take 600 milligrams of ibuprofen? I'm like, no one told me to do that. She's like, well, you're not prepped. I'm like, okay. Like, why? This is the Spade. Like, why are medical doctors making it so difficult for me to not get pregnant? Like, what is your why is that such an agenda?
No,
and
that's
society.
Not the Spade
okay, that's one Spade.
Well, I'm saying Spade is I want it locked down. I want a cement wall.
I want a cement wall.
But then you're gonna have your eggs frozen, and you just had like a physical reaction. You were repulsed by the sonogram machine. Yeah. Do you think this is a good idea? Can I ask you to re-question? Because I'm getting some conflicting messages.
Okay, like, no, like, my body is telling me that, like, no, you should definitely never have kids. Like,
right.
The physical reaction is like, no.
Could you imagine if you didn't listen to your body?
I know.
Because then you would hate it. You would resent it. You'd be like, okay, but you've never not listened to your intuition.
I know. And I have forever and ever been like, I don't want kids. And I think like that response to being in that room is just 100% confirmation that I should never have kids. And
if your body couldn't have, there's no way your body could have communicated any larger. Like and
the fact that I was almost in tears when she said, like, could you be pregnant? I was like,
okay, can we please just remember, you think you could save the money or the pain, and why would you freeze them?
Okay, this is the only reason why I would freeze them is because, like, maybe in 10 more years, I'll be like...
Because you'll be a different person then.
Time, yeah.
You're going to be, you're really different. You're going to be, how old will you be?
I'll be 44.
Okay, yeah. That sounds like a great idea.
This is what would have to happen. I have to be rich enough to have like a night nurse, a baby nurse, a nanny, like another nanny,
and a home.
And a home.
And a different home for the baby. And
they're staying in the guest house.
Okay. That's not a red flag, but okay. So what else would have to happen in order for you to have a child at 44?
I don't know. I must have to be like really bored, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't ever see that happening. I love my life, how I live it. And like,
yeah,
I don't like having a responsibility.
Not that kind of responsibility.
No. So this is just a heads up to all you ladies who are in the baby making range. If your body's telling you no, just listen to your body. And it's very difficult because there's pressure coming from external sources. And it's hard to say like no all the time. And people don't believe you when you say no because they're like, no, you'll change your mind. You'll change your mind. Yeah. I've heard that my whole life.
Same.
I'm like, I don't think so.
So I am older than you. I am that 10-year mark, right? My whole life, people have asked me, do you have kids? No. Why not? You would make such beautiful children.
I get the same thing. They're like, you would have beautiful children.
I was like, as if that's the only thing.
But they don't look pretty.
They could be like monsters. You know those children, those serial killer children? They know from an early age. Like you might not have they don't say like.
No one says that like, oh, you could mess up their entire life based on how you raise them, and like their destiny is in your hands. And
what if they're assholes?
Serial killer, it's on you.
What if they're an asshole and you're stuck with it?
That's on you.
And you're like, oh, that's me? See, I just don't want... Okay, anyway, so people... And then you could feel when they'd ask, do you have children? No. Oh. And then the air goes out of the room. Like what I just said was offensive.
I know. And then they're like, oh, so is that your dog? I'm like, yeah, that's my child over there. That's my dog. People just don't know what to say. So, I mean, stop asking because
they don't know that it's almost inappropriate at this point.
I have patients. I have friends who really want to be pregnant and they go through all the IVF and they go through all the hormones and it's miserable. Like,
that's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
They want to be there.
They want to be there. And for someone who...
Like you.
Like me. Or like even if you ask... For us, if you ask us and we're like, no. And they're like, why? Imagine if you're asking someone who is wanting to get pregnant and they can't get pregnant. Like, why don't you have kids? That's really upsetting for them because they've been trying all the things and they want it so badly. So, like...
When they asked me, oh, why they would be such beautiful children, and then they don't stop there. And they're like, why? I'm like, because I can't. And then they're like, oh.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have that. You're literally the person at Starbucks taking my money.
I know.
This is the conversation we're having. I just, if there's a phrase or a question that should be canceled, I believe it's that one.
I agree. And I don't know why everyone thinks it's everyone's business because it's not. Oh, and same with like Jennifer Aniston. She had that article that just came out where she's like, yeah, I've been struggling to get pregnant this entire time. Like everyone thinks I don't want kids, but I did want kids. And there was like a label put on her like, oh, she refuses to have kids. Like no man wants to be with her. Like there's just a narrative that everyone's making
They
up.
shame us like whores. And like you shame us for... Well, we try our entire lives not to get pregnant.
Yeah, I know. We're trying so hard to not get pregnant. And then
for like a good 20 years.
And then if you accidentally get pregnant when you're 16, it's like shame, shame, shame.
Like you whore.
If you don't get pregnant now in your 30s, shame, shame, shame.
How long? I think it's been 25 years that I've been, no, a little bit longer, than I've been like actively trying not to get pregnant. Like you're always constantly thinking about don't get pregnant.
Yeah.
And then now in the last like 3-4 years, they're expecting me to like undo that brainwashing.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Now all of a sudden, so you had to have had like a very like deep rooted desire. Those people are like, oh, I knew I wanted to have a kid when I was little. I'm like,
yeah, there are people like that.
What is that all about?
Just because you're a woman doesn't mean that your purpose on earth is to have a child.
And stop making us feel like an inferior species.
I think we're helping out the world because why would we want to add more humans to this earth.
Oh, I don't have
like
morals as to why.
I mean, just like I have to almost feel like I have to come up with excuses. Like,
oh yeah,
I
don't think it's appropriate.
Can't my answer just be no? I don't wanna.
I get physically sick when I see the machine, the equipment that comes along with it.
My body was exploding from the inside.
Like, I actually cried.
Yeah,
you know what? I always play this game with myself, envisioning you getting pregnant in the response when you call me.
And I'd be like bawling my eyes out.
I'd be like, "Where are you?
Help me!
Stop driving." You would be so pissed. Anyway, do we have any more spades?
I don't think so.
I don't have any more at this time, but
yeah,
this has been fun.
This has been fun. Let us know if you like the segment. Call a spade a spade. We'll keep doing it.
Yeah, let's do that.
Oh, and then also, this is actually just some housekeeping announcements. We love doing Patreon, but we are going to stop the Patreon at the moment.
I don't think we should say this.
Yeah.
On air?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the reason why is because we're just focusing all of our efforts to giving you all the amazing, excellent free content every week. So we just want to make sure that we're dedicating 110% effort to what you hear every week.
Okay. We're not holding back anymore. We want to present honesty in the way true honesty happens.
And not just limited to the Patreon.
There's no way I'm going to do that. Do you know how many intimate things I've told Patreon?
Yeah.
Very, very, it's been a confessional booth without the booth, right? You remember
So
those?
do you not want to make that announcement?
No, I do, but I'm just telling you, this is a big leap.
Yes.
To step away from Patreon where I felt safe and I was in literally a vacuum. And now it's out there. Even the people on Facebook can see that. And that scares the shit out of me. Anyway, so we're so excited to take all of that content that we've been holding back and share it with you guys. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
One of those segments is the experiences that I'm going through when navigating a newer space, trying to make companionship. We're going to do a little segment on that occasionally, and you can teach me how to do it. I'll bring the text, and you can translate it, and tell me what to say.
Yes.
And then, do you swipe? Do you not? I mean,
I think this is just the gift to give in the giving season. All the content that we have on Patreon is now open to you, and we're just going to, just do it here.
Welcome 2023. Christmas came early.
Exactly. And also, on that note, please share this show onto your Instagram page and tag us at SoFiredPod, because that is how we grow and that's how we all become besties, and we want to know who is listening. So we will personally send you a DM and thank you, because we want to know. We want to know who's listening. So please share it, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Disclaimer. This podcast is for entertainment purposes only. The stories and statements expressed herein are experiences and opinions. They may not represent the views of the production studio or the hosts. If you disagree with our content, that's okay. No podcast is perfect for everyone.